everyone. Welcome to a special garden party episode of Fatherless Behavior. Today, we have an amazing guest, but first, I'm your host, Bash.
I'm Walter.
And I'm Jay.
And I'm Yuli of Garden Club.
Alright, so a couple of things have happened since we last saw y'all. Apologies to anybody that saw me at the Citizen Show. I am truly sorry. What a fantastic show.
This is not a podcast episode anymore. It's an apology video.
It's an apology video. Third of all, apologies to anyone who's ever seen me in person.
If you've ever met me on an off night,
I apologize. I apologize for being perceived. Now, you might recognize Yuli from some of his work around here in Chicago. He's been invested with a lot of different parts of the scene. He used to play for Foreign Sunsets way back in the day, several other projects that we used to host. Most notably, he played bass for The Off Days, and now he's working on design work and just like an art brand, basically, for Garden Club. Now, can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so Garden Club, I started earlier this year. I had thought up of some ideas. Like I've always wanted to make my own clothes and designs and stuff, but I've never had the money or the knowledge to do so. So I was working with some names, and I landed on Garden Club to just kind of focus in on the work that I did in college, focusing on native plants in the U.S. and also my time working at the Chicago Botanic Garden.
the dude's a botanist. No, but he does like weed and mushrooms.
French?
We're bleeping that out.
How have mushrooms impacted your artistic journey? Go.
It's just nightmares. It's just nightmares.
Nightmares.
Are they beautiful though? Do you see in myopic Technicolor worlds?
I had a lot of fun on mushrooms. The worst time that I was on mushrooms, because I took them at my house on Cinco de Mayo, thinking oh yeah, sure, it'll be enough time for them to kick in by the time that I get to Bash's house. I didn't factor in that I had to stop and get some beverages for myself, because I don't drink alcohol at the moment, which is kind of funny to be I don't drink alcohol, but I'll do some mushrooms.
So y'all into psychedelic?
Yeah, so the shit started hitting when I was at Benny's, and I still had to drive another 5 minutes to get to his house.
Oh, mimosas. I'm trying to see God.
And then I get to his house, I parallel park on one of his side streets, which was a fucking nightmare. And then
You don't got that dog in you?
I park, I get out of the car, and I immediately called, "Help me, I'm dying."
Not only that, it was kind of funny that you weren't drinking. We had several drinks. I made 2 liters worth of margaritas, and you weren't even done with the work that you had to do that day. You brought your laptop with you, and were doing work, and then Jay just kept throwing bags of dried cranberries at you every now and then. It's just oh yeah, you know what would make everything much more worse on top of all of that? Playing some trippy ass fucking movies like Road to El Dorado.
Yeah.
To be fair, he did specify that nightmares are essential to his creative process. I think being assaulted with cranberries fits on any nightmare list.
Me, anytime I go to
Sounds
any indie music night.
I feel if anything, that whole experience,
The cranberries?
just it speaks volumes for my work ethic. Because I still had that uphill battle of a half an hour left of work, and I'm just all right, let me just sit down on my laptop and get all this work done.
Let me hit that Anchorman voice real quick. The Fatherless Behavior podcast does not condone fatherless behavior while on the clock.
This has been false advertisement about fatherless behavior.
It's I just want that to be a disclaimer. It's disclaimer to that disclaimer. We cannot tell you when fatherless behavior will occur. It is a natural phenomenon.
Warning, timing for fatherless behavior may be subject to change. You or a loved one could be affected by fatherless behavior.
You have a following system.
If you are a loved one and been affected by fatherless behavior, you may be entitled to compensation.
Not from us, but somebody.
Call Peter Francis Geraci, Los Toreros de la Ley.
Also, we suggest you seek therapy.
Yeah, I didn't realize
For your
how
donations.
close his office is to my house. It's on.
Yeah.
He's
Cicero
got
and
a
Irving.
couple,
Yeah.
but like,
Yeah.
did you know that it's also like in an old Taco Bell?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
The
That's the
arcade
best
Taco
part.
Bell.
That's
Yeah.
the best part. Is like, yo, he took over Taco Bell's. It's like he took over all of them.
But like, I feel like part of that has to be almost racist and gentrification.
Hey, no.
Well,
He learned the
like-
language.
but
He learned everybody's
But
language.
he was like,
He did learn everything.
he was like, I'm gonna do this right. I'm gonna take over your culture properly,
Respectfully.
Can I just say that?
respectfully.
Well, like when he was on like the Korean channels and like the Polish channels, he would still say Peter Francis Geraci and then call himself El Torero de la Ley, but like in their language. And I'm like, that's right, Mexico's still first.
Oh yeah,
It's like-
always.
Just the translation. Of,
Yeah, it would
okay.
be a
Yeah.
translation of El Torero de la Ley. It was like
Whatever.
whatever that translates to in Polish.
Polish,
learned it.
Dutch, English, French. He does like 30
Oh, yeah, he
languages
does
now.
This man took the Spanish phrase and then had to use English as a conduit to get to the next language. It's just a web of deception.
He's like that one Mortal Kombat character that trained to learn everybody's fighting style. The old dude. What's his? I think it's Mortal Kombat Deception. Yeah, like.
Oh, that's an old one. That's like 2003.
Yeah, I'll post a photo of him right here.
GameCube.
Yeah, but he would like
PlayStation
and
2.
because with when you switched move sets for different characters, it'd be like, oh, it would be your fighter stance or your sword attack or your grappler. For him, when you changed your fighting modes, it was other characters' fighting modes. So he would do like Boraicho and
Hold
then
on.
go into Sub-Zero.
That's a good point. Remember when everybody gave shit to Sombrero Mario for Super Mario Odyssey?
Yeah, all white people did.
Oh yeah.
All right. So like people were up in arms about Sombrero Mario, and I was like, Mortal Kombat for like 7 incarnations had a guy named Boraicho.
Literally
That's
spelled
Borracho.
It's just spelled Borracho,
Like-
but just pronounced with an I.
Like, that's literally.
You pronounce it with an accent, and
Yeah, like,
Right.
that's literally what you're
he's
supposed
not
to
even
do.
he's not even Mexican, but he has Mexican he has essence of Mexican.
Yeah, yeah,
They
like,
gave him like
Alcoholism.
they gave him a whiskey bottle.
I would like to say that if you happen to find Borracho napping, maybe outside, would he not be in that fetal sombrero position? You know what I mean? Like
Just the salt shaker.
the salt shaker of sombreros.
See,
like,
okay,
yeah.
I remember I used to think that was racist, but now I think about my current job and my current life, and when I go take a nap on my breaks, I'm literally huddled up like that in a beanbag chair, just like folded up. I'm like, and I have the hat down. I was like, motherfucker!
They were right. They were right.
It blocks out the light.
Why do we all look like this?
Anyway, speaking about Mexican heritage and culture and connections, Yuli brought a special gift for the podcast.
Yeah. So the last, I think now it has to be like a week. So about a week ago, I bought like this really nice pineapple. So it was like finally like at like the perfect ripeness. Chopped it all up, right, with the skin on, mashed it up in my little fermentation jar, and then I just left it for like 3-4 days.
Pause. It was at the perfect ripeness to let it spoil.
Yeah.
Like,
But it's
That is what
controlled.
ripe
That
is,
is
though.
but that's such an oxymoron. It's like it was just perfect enough to let it go to shit.
Well,
But you have to kindly spoil
Yeah,
it, which is
no,
so
for
funny.
sure.
It was
right?
like old enough
Yeah.
to age further.
The best would have been if right.
There's a crazy science behind it. I don't think the podcast is enough
It's
time.
like it's like it was finally old enough to build a long-term relationship with.
No, well,
She
I
seems
wanted
steady and stable.
I wanted it to get to like a good ripeness because you want to get like a good sweetness out of it,
Yeah,
right?
junior college is
Yeah.
important. Yeah.
So
You know what the worst part
At
is?
least it's not
Another term for like ripeness is maturity.
20s. I mean,
and we're not sexualizing a pineapple.
I'm a fucking pineapple.
Pineapple
little
is.
Nicky did that shit.
Actually, we're not the first to sexualize a pineapple. The swinger community.
I was gonna say yeah. It's like,
Right.
Oh
it's a
yeah,
symbol.
I heard about that too.
Flamingos and pineapples.
PSA.
It's not the
Detour.
first time we've
if,
talked
if
about it on the
anybody
podcast.
has an anklet with a pineapple on it, a pineapple doorknob, a pineapple door handle,
Run, because Adolf Hitler in a maid outfit is nearby.
and Satan titties are not far behind. No. No, yeah, but I didn't know that the swinger. the swinger community tries to take flamingos, and I was like,
Weren't pineapples enough?
well, it's like flamingos are just birds. It's like they're just what's sexy about a flamingo? They're like, I got good balance.
Those long ass legs.
Long legs,
They're only pink if it's what they eat.
long neck.
Are they pink because of what they eat?
Yes, because of the crawfish, shrimp, the pigment that's in the meat changes the pigment of the feathers. So that's why actually zoos supplement their diets with pink dye pellets to help keep them vibrant and pink.
Weird.
Insert
What did you add to this?
The more you know.
Anyway, back to tepache, or back to the gift.
So once it was like a decent sweetness, chopped it up, mashed it up in the fermentation jar, left it for like 3-4 days, and then I think it was Monday. Yeah, I think it was Monday. I strained it out and put it into a secondary fermentation jar to get it carbonated, and this is what we got. Some good old tepache. So it's a fermented pineapple drink, popular in Mexico. It's where it originates from. But I feel like a lot more people are getting into fermentation, and this is like super easy. It's literally just pineapple, water, and brown sugar, and then you just let it control rot.
Do you have to do any sort of filtration? Because I see there's sediment at the bottom.
It's
Sediment
it's
to the
just
camera?
it's just pineapple.
Okay, so it's just like pulp.
Yeah, it's just
Pineapple,
yeah,
pineapple
essentially.
fibers.
yeah.
It's leftover carcass.
So
Yeah, it's really interesting that, I mean, during the pandemic when everybody was locked in and didn't have to do anything, they learned about natural fermentation carbonated drinks, and I think still tepache was kind of under the radar for most people.
yeah,
Now that I think about it, because there's this one YouTuber that had a whole thing. He's the one YouTuber that does, oh, I made a $50 Big Mac versus the $5 Big Mac.
Joshua Weissman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Have you seen that the dude who did the like it's not from fucking Iron Chef? Like he's just a YouTube dad now.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love
yeah.
that
Yeah.
shit.
That's cute.
And
But,
his
like-
son buys like expensive fruits and stuff, or like food, and he's like, make this gourmet. Yeah, I saw that guy. No, yeah. Over the pandemic, I feel like a lot of people got into like fermentation and stuff. Mainly like trying to like make kombucha,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like kombucha is like
Ass.
no. I mean, I like kombucha. Kombucha is good, but I think
It can be good if
yeah.
flavored right and fermented correctly.
I think
Tastes pretty
kombucha.
good.
I think kombucha is harder to make because you have to have the culture to start it.
Mother.
This you could just buy.
3 ingredients.
You could buy a pineapple. You already have like you can use like white refined sugar or brown sugar. That's probably already in your house, and then water.
So this is the
Why-
entry level then. Yeah.
Gotta
Why
break
is
a brown
starting your own not brewery, but let's just say alcohol project, right? That's seen as a culinary endeavor by the internet. But I grow mushrooms in my house, and all of a sudden you gotta call the police. Sometimes your neighbors just aren't as cool as they said they were. You know what I mean? That fucking Guns N' Roses t-shirt is just a Coles t-shirt after all.
You know what? Real quick, let me get, can a young brown boy with a little bit of swagger hit this type of shit?
So the one thing that I do have to note about the tepache is that because of the fermentation, like all of the yeast eats the sugar and produces the carbonation
Alcohol.
that you see in there, but it also produces alcohol. So it does have like a low alcohol content, not a lot,
Similar
but
to
it has
kombucha.
more than kombucha. Kombucha has like maybe like 0.5 or 1%. This has like maybe 3.
By the way, can I say that in the age of digital art and just digital everything, and anybody that creates anything nowadays is considered an artist or creator of some kind, it is still kind of cool to take raw, natural shit and be like, I'm about to make art with this bitch. Like,
I'm about to create an environment that is so toxic.
yeah, but culinary art is cool. I think as cool as digital art can be, physical concepts are still the hardest to work with
Yeah.
because there are no like shortcuts.
No control Z on that bitch.
Yeah,
Like,
you
Did
literally
learn-
brought this. We just popped it for the first time on this show. There's
It
nothing
tastes
else.
fantastic.
There's nothing else happening here.
I
Like
could like
it
aroma,
hasn't been
good
open
sweetness.
since it got bottled up, so it's kind of as fresh as it can be. technically brewing a certain level of alcohol for commercial purposes is illegal, but it's still kind of cool to have this kind of ability. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I'm trying to unlock my
the
ability
need
right now.
and the like ability to make alcohol is a pretty cool fucking thing.
And
Like it's essential to human like existence.
and that's kind of what I'm like doing with Garden Club, because like since I like had the idea of starting a company where I can do design.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy to just work on like your iPad or your Mac or your tablet or whatever,
Right.
and just be like, all right, cool, like let me just send this file and like that's it. But like there's nothing tangible that ties you to that work. So I'm using
Until you print it.
what I've known. Yeah, I'm using what I've known about like art and drawing and stuff, mixing it with like my knowledge of like plants, mixing it with my knowledge of food. And basically what I want to do with Garden Club is make a brand that is stylish in the sense of like how streetwear and like the DIY fashion scene is like expanding and growing, but also tie it back to like sustainable things. So like right now I'm looking at sourcing like recycled canvas or recycled hemp tote bags, because I want to do some tote bags for either like the summer or like the fall, for like people going to like farmers markets, going to the grocery store or whatever, and that stops you from getting plastic bags.
And we put a secret hidden pocket in there for when you have stash and shit.
I would think a really good way to
Brain moves.
kind of source some old canvas would be going to thrift stores.
You know
They
what's
got
cool?
massive canvas like paintings, and you just break the frame, use the wood for something else, and then you got some canvas that is already pre-designed, and then you could even design over it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, an interesting concept though, and so this is something that I acquired myself at some point in time. But there was a company that started sourcing cement bags and animal feed bags from countries like Thailand and Cambodia to then make into purses, backpacks, and everything. And now most of the bags and sacks that would carry cement, grain, and things like that in those countries are some sort of waterproof or water resistant or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so they would take this material and just like cut it up as is into making a backpack, and then all of a sudden you have a standard waterproof backpack.
Yeah, you like fold, like tuck
Right.
and fold, so to get the shape. I do like the cement
Yeah.
bag that you have.
Yeah, no, and it's really cool. I do like the idea of reclaiming materials.
Yeah.
It's a big thing that I did when I was doing woodworking. I only took wood that like I got from scrap, and specifically, kind of cool, I was taking wood from harps, reclaimed scrap, leftovers, also just destroyed harps that we broke down. I was working for a harp company. I was taking a bunch of this wood and using it for different just woodworking projects. And I do like the idea of taking what is already failed in its existence, kind of, and fully repurposing it. I think it's a fantastic concept.
Yeah, I mean, there's
Yeah.
plenty of like people doing it at the highest that I know. Like Nike has like their they have now like a repurpose or reclaim program where they like will take shoes, refurbish, and then like sell them again.
Adidas with their fan collab series. A lot of those are recycled plastic shoes.
Yeah, and Nike has like shoes that are like the soles are made with like ground plastic from like old shoes. And then there's people like Nicole McLaughlin that does like, I think just recently she did like bikini or something out of old Arc'teryx jackets.
What?
I mean, the
Yeah.
coolest bikini I have ever seen is the Carhartt one.
That's her.
That's her?
That's her. Yeah.
Oh, right
that's
on.
actually
That's
dope.
awesome.
Yeah, I've seen that.
The first time I've ever heard of the concept of upcycling, I mean, specifically in clothing, was from Matt, also known as Esophagus on Instagram. Yeah, like their whole upcycle brand is called Esophagus. I remember when I went to go see their drummer's podcast, a live taping of it.
Be ridiculous.
I saw a live taping of the drummer's podcast where he got all of Dr. Manhattan together, local Wakanda band, and that's where I got the vinyl self-titled signed by all
sick.
of them. And while they were doing that, they were having a silent auction to help raise money for a shitty fucking venue in Grays Lake that we all hate, the Oasis. I'll call them out by name. They're gone now. Fuck them.
Wait, you hated them?
Yeah, they're assholes.
I was never part of this hatred. I tend to hate people on a personal level.
Yeah, same.
Wait, the Oasis is which one?
Grays Lake.
That was
Grays
the one that was
Lake.
like a youth community center that also had like.
Oh, wait, we played there.
Yeah, they had a silent auction to raise funds to help support the Oasis, and I was just like, I don't really want to support the Oasis, but Esophagus had an upcycled sweater that was being auctioned off. I got that
That's
shit.
raw.
I got that shit for $30. I'm not gonna lie. Like I bid $30 and I won, and now I still have that shit.
I get so much free used stuff in my life that I am an upcycling center. Like,
You're
not-
an upcycler.
Dude, you're an indirect upcycler.
like my
That-
passive skill to just absorb shit that people have discarded is second to none.
You're a walking
You
clothes
also-
and shoes box.
I was once standing with Walter, Bash, Ashley, our photographer, in a parking lot, just shooting the shit. A human man, a grown man of about 50 or 60, walked through all three of them up to me and was like, "You, sir, you look like you could use a free pair of boots."
Specific boots.
And I was so confused. And he's like, "What kind?" And he's like, "They're a 10.5 steel toe, extra lightweight, waterproof." And I was like, "How much do you want?" And he's like, "Does free work for you, son?"
He saw your raggedy ass Vans and was like, "This boy needs boots."
I want you to know that if you think there's anything I could use, give it to me. No, but like, so even last night,
No,
so
that's nice. Yeah.
So shout
Wait,
out
what?
to winning sweepstakes. Fucking Yuli from Garden Club is the luckiest motherfucker. He wins sweepstakes all the time.
Nah.
Yesterday,
I wouldn't say like sweepstakes. All like contests.
Raffles. He
Raffles.
wins raffles. He's got a
Those are the
raffle
fun
thing.
ones.
I don't know what it's about, but basically, I was about to have a pretty sad lunch. It was sad. And all of a sudden I get a text, "Do you have plans tonight?" And I was like, "Not except eating a sad meal by myself." And then
Breast bitch.
Yuli was like, "What would you like to have a meal cooked by the Bear from FX's Chicago series,
The Bear?"
This motherfucker won a sweepstakes to like an awesome event. It was fucking fully immersive. So like, they make you walk in through an alley, right?
That was crazy.
The
Like,
second
yeah?
that you walk in through this alley, the person that greets you is like, "What the fuck's going on, man? You're fucking late. You didn't call ahead. Like, we're staffed to the fucking tits. Like, chef is already pissed. Like, what the fuck are you getting?" Like, so it's like they're already telling you that you're
Flashbacks.
late for a shift and everything. They walk you through the fucking kitchen and everything, and they're like, "Chef, I need you to fucking try this donut. Like, I've been working on this donut for 2 weeks." That's a line from
Call
the
back.
show.
Season
Yeah,
1, baby.
Season 1.
Yeah.
So they're like rushing you through the kitchen. They stop you in the kitchen. They make you eat this donut. Give this guy a
Squeaking
critique,
the chair.
and he's just like, "Man, like, if you like that donut, you gotta be fucking, you know, you're gonna be excited for my banana bread."
He was like, I've been working on this recipe for like 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
You know, like- and then like, right, we get a donut. Also, like, both yesterday and today have been my cheat days because like I've been eating clean, dog. And yesterday, just like yesterday, I was like, "Fuck it, dude. I guess like we're doing this." And then today, like we just scarfed out a pizza in 5 minutes.
They gave you a scorecard with how you were gonna fuck up your diet for the day. It was like 1 Italian beef, 1 hot dog, multiple appetizers. How many drinks do you want from the bar? Like,
And like,
dude,
we said this yesterday. It's
Circle.
like,
We were just like, yes, all of us.
we were like, I can't recall the last time I had an Italian beef and a hot dog. in
oh
the
yeah,
same,
it's
like,
so
meal. Like,
much of a meal.
For sure. I've
the
had the
double
Ita-
barreled shaboing boing. Just
Well,
Well,
the
then-
Italian
dog
sausage
in
and the hot
beef.
and the Italian beef together that they do, like Portillo's. Those are my
Oh,
go-to.
Well, they looked at my
God, that is
complexion
just, like,
and
so
then
much.
asked me if I wanted sweet peppers, and I was like, no.
Dude, homie at the Italian beef spot
Yeah.
too. Like he was funny as hell because like he was calling us over and being like, "Come get an Italian beef," and like we were about to go, and then the lady walks by with hot dogs, and she's like, "Have you guys gotten your hot dog yet?" And I was like, "No," and she's like, "Well, here you go." Plops down like a wrapped hot dog, opens it up. It's all like.
I'm still waiting for you to pick up this beef.
Then he was like watching.
He was
us.
watching.
No.
He was like,
You're supposed to give me
No,
a
but
beef.
then the photographers came around and they're like, "Hey, could you two go stand in front of the beef station and really eat that hot dog and enjoy it?" So
this is right after we inhaled the hot dog.
But it was so funny because they even pressed the question like, we already knew the guy was looking at us, and then they're just like, "Can you make eye contact?" And I was like,
Nope.
No, he
No.
scares me.
Now I'm tripping on mushrooms right now.
I'm like, that sounds odd. Like, imagine being told to like scarf a glizzy down for the camera, and then be like, "Make eye contact with Ryan."
And
Sounds
It's
like
I didn't like this.
sounds like a
I was
glizzy
real.
I was gonna say like sounds like my Wednesday night, but then you said Ryan. I was
You're like,
Scarf
oh,
down
shit.
Ryan's glizzy.
That's Thursday.
You see his mouth drool? He went his mouth. Yeah, it's like,
Oh, he was thinking about
I
it.
spat. I'm just like,
No, it's like-
slut.
So-
give me a
slut.
paper towel.
That also makes me think of the Walmart
So we
employee.
ate the hot dogs, right? And then she was like, "Now go get an Italian beef."
God damn it.
You
I want to
assholes.
giggle.
But the spot yesterday was cool. It was at Blind Barber, and it kinda has
in
like
Fulton.
that like speakeasy kind of
Yeah.
vibe, or like it had like a dive bar, diner, club /
Gala event.
foreman's basement kind of aesthetic.
Mm.
So they had like pictures of like all of the like actors and stuff, and like their people or whatever,
Mhm.
and then like Chicago icons, like obviously like the L. There's like the Logan
Yeah.
Square Monument, all that stuff. And then it was sponsored by Stella, so we had Stella on
On
tap.
deck.
Yeah,
Shouts out to Stella for the swag bag.
yeah. Also,
Wait, you got a Stella swag bag?
We'll get to that. We'll get
Yeah.
to that. Hold on.
God
So-
damn.
Sorry.
and
I
like
got
a
excited.
big plus too is I'm not drinking, so
Yeah.
on the card, right, with like the Italian beef and the hot dog, you get 2 bar drinks, and then I was like, well, I can't drink, but I was like, yo, do you guys
Hold
have
on.
non-alcoholic?
Hold on. Can I just say that he wouldn't pull a Midwestern wife for me? Like,
Where he gets the beer and gives it to you.
I drank both of my drinks that I was allowed it as
Quickly.
fast as I could.
Elegantly.
The mixed drinks were fantastic. Stella on tap out of the gold rim glass.
You should have taken a picture of
Choice.
the recipe. We could have remade that.
They weren't even following
Describe it to me and I can make it.
I do have a picture, I think. But here's the deal. I drank both my drinks pretty fast. He had 2 drinks available to him, and he was gonna order 2 non-alcoholic beers. The biggest waste of free bar drinks I've ever fucking heard of. Milk that miserable drink for 1.5 hours and give me that second drink.
I feel like
That is the
if I got
true
water.
brotherly Christian thing to do, and I think that was very rude of you. And I think karma showed you that was rude and rewarded me.
Well, no, I would say you just manifested it into
Manifest destiny.
he just manifested
You sure
it
that way?
into like him wanting it so bad that it just happened.
God damn.
Because they had like photo people there taking pictures of the event for Stella and everything.
Yeah.
So yeah. That's the thing. It's usually under the
And
pop-up.
there was a dude. This guy was like
Pro.
working.
Pro.
Pro. So he like had his camera on a tray, right, and then he's carrying 3 Stellas out
Mhm.
and getting shots, going through the crowd.
Getting people grabbing them off the plate.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
like
that's a good
all
shot.
Yeah.
Pre-setting
all
up
sorts
the
of
shot a
POV
lot.
angles, yeah.
Dude,
All
very
sorts of
nice,
POV
very
angles. Yeah.
nice.
Same thing.
Only dude doing it out of like 5 photographers, by the way.
Same setup, right?
I'm trying to find
Italian
that.
beef, all dressed up, goes, drops it off of the table, they grab it.
Watch
Amazing
them
shot.
take a bite, everything.
Camera
Then-
just going.
Then we're at the bar, getting my second non-alcoholic drink,
Disappointing me.
and he tells the bartender, "Hey, pour one in the glass and then set it down with the logo out, right? And I'm gonna do like a sweep. I'm gonna come in as you set it down." And I was like, "This guy's doing work, man. He's got it." So now the the camera guy, he's like, all right, cool, got the shot. Now the bartender's left with the prop beer, and she's like,
That prop beer is now used, and a very responsible upcycler happened to be in proximity.
she looked at like 4 other people, being like,
They all said no, and I was waiting for eye contact, like,
You're the You're
opposite.
frothing at the
man.
mouth.
It was so bad. If Rabies had a spokesperson, it would be me.
you know how she was do like their little dance when they like one shit, like that was Joe. He was just like,
Oh, yeah, it's happy as
It was bad.
It's funny.
It was so bad.
yeah. So then he like manifested this 3rd beer, and he's like, hell yeah.
Well, what's funny is like they rejected our offer. They,
To buy beer, 'cause
they
they-
rejected our offer to buy beer, and then they rejected our offer to bribe them for beer.
And they're like, no, we'll just give it to you.
Yeah, and I was just like, you fools.
That was
Like,
the
we
plan
could
all
have
along.
set up an agreement that would have kept me here to the end of the event. You know
These
what I
guys
mean?
have not
Did
truly
you
worked
not
events.
stay to the end of the event?
No,
No.
because once you eat all your food and everything,
kick you
and-
out.
They don't kick you out.
No, but they want you to hang out, but they won't give you more drinks to hang out.
Yeah, so
Gotcha.
like we got our food. We got. I mean, they had like some hors d'oeuvres kind of going.
Oh,
around.
we were very hungry. They had delicious food. They had sample food to keep you busy from like local restaurants, which crazy plug. You know what I mean? But they were trying to be like, oh, this is the fine dining aspect of the bear. We brought local cuisine from like local star chefs. or whatever.
Carnival,
Yeah.
Cheval.
No. It was,
No, it was Asian food, right?
Yeah,
It was,
well, there-
glass noodles.
One was glass noodles, and then the other one was like a green chili chicken.
Oh, probably from like Duck Duck Goat, maybe.
No, because she said it was. I don't even remember what the name was, but it was like a father and son that opened up a restaurant together.
Yeah.
Um,
They had a whole backstory ready
Yeah.
to
Well,
spill out.
once we like finished with like our shit, and you got your 3rd drink, then like the next part of it was like you walk to get your like to goes, which is like they have a photo booth. So you take. I have your photo strip too.
Which, by the way, everybody there was getting like the worst photos taken of them because they were trying to be like act natural, people. There
And
was
they were like, "Ah,
there was a
cool."
lot of first dates there. There was a lot of first dates there.
I would
That's a-
never
and-
waste a first
That
date
is
on that.
flex
It
on
was,
a
shit.
first
it was,
date.
it was so
You
awkward.
call your homie up for
Dude,
that.
well, that's the thing. It was so awkward that the pictures were super weird. And then they kept coming up to me and Yuli and being like, "You guys are having a great time. Could you just pose for us doing these like?"
I'd
they
have a
kept
better
taking-
time if
They
you
kept
gave me
taking
more
so
beer.
many pictures of us,
Yeah.
and they're like, "You guys are naturals and everything." And I was like, "Thank you. We're performers." And also,
And
kind
in
of
my mind, I was just like,
yeah,
if you heard the conversations that we were
Oh
having,
my God.
like
dude.
You would
That's-
kick us out.
the-
Because
like, that were
nobody was
making us
laughing.
laugh.
Nobody was laughing, but like we were doing those like, "You're in church, you can't laugh right now" laughs. You know what I
Like
mean?
your
Like,
best like I can't even remember half the shit that we were
like
talking about. But like
those laughs
How that-
where you need to look away from the person that you're giggling with because eye contact will make you piss yourself.
It's like being.
Those
in
were the
study
kind of
hall.
laughs we were having, and they're like, "That's
The
great
middle
for the
of
camera." We
class
love that.
laughs. So it's
Dude.
like, God damn it.
It was so fucking funny because like we were the
dude,
com.
I
yeah.
think we were having the best time out of everyone.
Oh yeah.
And like
Yeah.
if you looked at the room, like you would think it was just a bunch of random people
Yeah.
that were in there. Jimmy, pull up the clip. Afterwards, like we had already gotten our pictures taken a bunch at the
Oh
bar,
yeah, we were getting photographs.
and then we walk to the to-go thing, right, to get our swag bags.
oh,
and-
the exit. Yeah,
and
the
our-
swag bag was fire.
and our like photo booth picture. Like after you get there, there's no like re-entry.
Pause.
But the same the same photographer that was taking pictures of us in the bar was like, "Oh, you guys are here," and she was like,
Oh, thank fuck.
The second they gave us the swag bags, because like when you went to the event and everything, they're like, "Oh, give us your full name and then give us a nickname, 8 characters max
10 characters.
or 10 characters max."
Yeah.
That's better than MySpace.
And I was like, "Why?" And then they're like, it's for a custom gift. And I literally looked at him and I was like, if they give me a custom apron, I'm going to shit my fucking pants. Like, we hadn't even made it past the check-in lady yet. And my fucking spidey sense was tingling. And I'm like, I'm about to be happy as fuck. And
the whole time you were like, apron, 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 apron.
there's nothing in life that I don't manifest. I have everything I want, and that's awesome.
How about
You
you
should
get
be
some
an
bitches?
So
Manifest some bitches.
I'm happily married.
dude, we got
Ashley
we
scares
got
the hose away. I'm sorry.
We got the swag bags, got our custom aprons.
Dude, the second they gave us our swag bags, I threw the apron on, and they're like, "You're
Yeah, I
just
saw
gonna
the
put
photo.
it." They're like, "You're just gonna put it on," and I was like,
Yeah.
"I'm wearing it out of the event." And then they're like,
Adorable.
"Can we photograph you in it?" And I was like, "Only if you let me put the fucking bear hat on." And they're like, "We would love that." And I just started
walking out with a
posing
bear
with
hat.
Yeah, like I just started posing with a
Dude.
bear hat. I was like, "Do you need fucking angry chef face? Do you need fucking happy new blood face?" Like,
I'll suck your
Dude,
dick.
I'm over here
So-
looking at my swag.
Cigarette.
I'm over here looking at my swag bag. Like, okay, we got an apron, we got a hat. They gave us a glass.
I'm already dressed, working the
this
shift.
this dude is over by like they have like these like old school machines, you know, like the ball buster
Yeah.
the show. So they have these old machines like playing clips of the show, and Joe's like, I'm zoned in on the swag bag, and Joe's just like full on photo shoot. He's just like wearing the hat like this. And he's like, and then
Camera
he's
was
like
loving
this.
me.
And why couldn't you do that when we did your photo shoot?
Um,
I blame the shrooms.
I'm
Yeah,
calling
I mean-
this sautéed mushrooms. This is gonna be the name of the episode.
It's not for the minor leagues, that's for sure.
Can I just tell you, like, I've never been associated with something I loved as much. So I have a burning passion for food, and I know Yuli
Yeah.
does too. Like, we all have different specialties. We're all different cooks. Like, Walter's family legitimately owns a restaurant. He's our business dude. I am always been in a creative position with food. I'm always in creative positions in general.
Not only that, you handle meats like a fucking $10
Yuli has always been a specialized person, and he is now like literally an expert, like fermentation motherfucker.
I wouldn't say expert, but I dabble.
It's
It shows
been a
up on
couple
your
of years.
Skyrim skills.
Yeah, it for sure at least shows up on your skill chart.
My skill tree is
Yeah.
it's up there.
Because
It's
you're
least
at
have a
3
branch
years
on it.
now.
Yeah.
yeah. So it's
Yeah.
been 3 years since I started.
Right. So like that's not a scoff of time, and like the product.
That's almost a degree.
Like the products I've
associates,
had
at
from you,
least.
like the different ginger beers and things. But you were doing all the pickling for a while. You
Well,
were,
he did
that-
the,
that's also-
he did the pickling. I did that honey ginger
The honey ginger.
the honey
fermentation
ginger
was good.
garlic that was raw
Yeah.
because that fermented for like 2 weeks and then I took it out, blended it up, bro, on some steak. Get out of here.
Did
So
you
you
also
guys-
do? Did you also do kimchi? I could have sworn you started a kimchi.
No, I did a
Kimchi's wild.
I did
It's really
a
good for you, though.
soy fermented mushroom to make
Mm.
vegan ceviche.
My specialty is
You don't get
typically
the sushi.
veggie food with a hard focus in Asian cuisine because almost every single dish that you can make Asian, it can be vegetarian at the minimum.
Yeah.
But if you use like, legumes like fucking soy, tofu, you can use that. You can make vegan oyster sauce pretty easily out of Asian like ingredients. So I like to specialize a lot in the meatless category, but since there's such variety within Asian culture, I kind of zone in on that one specifically.
And when you made pickled onions too,
Oh yeah,
Dude,
I made
those pickled-
pickling.
those pickled onions were like top tier. I bought like pickled onions from people at like farmers markets at the store. Like the ones that you made were top tier.
Yeah, I have a
So-
very secret process about it.
Take the onions and put them in the bag.
I was actually
mummify you.
I was actually talking to Daylong, I think 2 weeks ago. We were hanging out, and their partner.
Congrats on the new album,
Yeah,
Daylon.
congrats on the new album.
Woo!
But was just they had a jar of pickles and she was just eating them at the bar. I was like, oh yeah, I used to make pickles, and Daylong was like, I need to have your pickles because I showed them a photo of it. I used to make the heartiest, spiciest pickles.
Can
this
can
side
I
of
just say
Mississippi.
also, like, Clausen pickles are our standard pickle for
Shout
like,
out Clausen.
shout out
Sponsor
Clausen.
him.
Clausen pickles are not only a standard for, like, let's say just our basic pickling shit because we're all culinary people, but they're also founded in the town that rejected my license application and test 3 times.
3 times, yeah. It took you 4 times to get your license.
Wait, where are they?
They're originally from Woodstock.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Well, they're from Chicago, now they're in Woodstock. But, like, that's the funniest thing to me.
I believe
Um,
Groundhog Day was also filmed in Woodstock.
Yeah.
Part
A
of
lot,
it.
a lot of the parts, like a lot of the town center parts, were filmed in Woodstock, Illinois.
Yeah, so for me, I've always grown around. My family's owned a Mexican restaurant for the last 30-some years now. Shout out to La Flor de Acapulco. If you ever get a chance to meet me, I will recommend going there. And if you get a recommendation from me, my uncle who runs the bar will give you a shot at the end, apparently. This is the deal he's doing.
The gun one, right?
Yeah, he'll
It's
pour you
so
a
gangster.
coscoron, he'll pour out the shot, slams it on the table, and you have to take it because it's about to literally overflow out of the shot, so you have to drink it.
That's sick.
It's a lot of fun. I've done so much work for them over the years.
Art-wise,
Decoration-wise, art-wise. Currently, there's a giant
We worked
Aztec
on their
mural.
menu together.
Slightly, yeah. We should do slight improvements here and there.
Mine
have to work
menu
that more.
design, but cocktails specifically. Ask our family Thanksgiving.
I would love to sell the Foreign Sunsets
Cocktail?
cocktail. I don't know what we're calling it.
Yeah, it's
We're
the Foreign
definitely
Sunset.
calling it the cocktail.
So yeah, you did mural work at La Flor de Acapulco, and
There's a
honestly,
huge
dude, that shit
Aztec
is hard. I was part of a mural project in high school where it was it was a fresco type thing, and that shit was intense. But you know what's easier than fucking fresco? Spray painting.
And you know who was a Sherpa recently? For a group of hoodlums
Me, baby.
from the hard streets of Wakamden.
Now we can't.
I'm not from there, actually.
We can't hard date the excursion, but basically,
It was September, no, July of
so
1936.
here's the thing: when Garden Club first started,
September 9th.
it was within the recent months. It was actually right before our revamp, as Foreign Sunsets, with Walter taking over bass responsibilities. We like to call it lead bass. I don't believe in rhythm. I don't have it. One of the first projects that Garden Club worked on was actually this giant banner for Foreign Sunsets, and that was all the brainchild of Yuli.
I think this was actually before Garden Club.
Yeah, but
Technically,
it was,
yes.
it was the
Yeah.
inception of the graphic design idea.
Yeah.
It's really where like I leaned on you as a designer to come through with something that I could only envision.
So this worked out well because at the time, like I had been working a lot with my friend Mahe, who's an avid graffiti artist, and we were doing designs together. Like I had convinced him last year to like buy an iPad because I'm like, you gotta stop wasting paper like doing your sketches.
Oh,
and, like, do it on the iPad. Like draw all your ideas on the iPad, and then like whenever you go out into the street, like have it on your phone, have the idea, and you can like see it, and get it done.
But I have a little bit of respect for that, for being like pen to paper, marker to paper. Like,
Well, he was
whatever,
also
sure.
he was also a real one because he used the USPS stickers for a while too.
Yeah, I mean, like,
Oh yeah. Mahe was using the USPS
Yeah,
stickers
so
for
he,
a long
like,
time.
Classic.
he
Yeah.
still does like pen to paper, but like
Yeah. Well, he does a lot of marker work.
yeah, so he still does
Yeah.
pen to paper, but like every now and then like he'll work on something on the iPad, send it to me,
Something big.
I'll collab, and then like whatever. Like he did when they had the Prince thing, the Prince experience thing, he did the graffiti piece for
I remember
for
that.
the
yeah,
Prince
yeah.
exhibit. And so at the time, like I said, I was working with him. I used what I learned from him to work with this and like get the inspiration from like Jet Set Radio. Well, Jet Set Radio is like the logo.
Yeah.
For sure, yeah. This
Yeah.
is just the radio, yeah.
And then like incorporating Foreign Sunsets, and then after that, like kind of putting two and two together. Because at the same time, I was also working on the Fundamental Kinks like designs. I was like, you know what? I feel like I could do this as like a profitable thing, and like now I've made more money doing this in the last 6 months than I used to, like making money playing shows
Yeah.
with like the off days. So I'm like, I'm having a good time. I get to work at my pace, and I get to like create cool things like this banner.
It is also cool not being limited to one media form. But that's the tricky thing, because like when you want to work in different mediums and you don't have full autonomy, that's a tricky thing. So with the off days, you were specifically their bass player, while you guys were a multi-person band. So you can't just be like, hey, also let me conceptualize a lot of designs for a lot of different things. And that's the thing that we even struggle with. Like our current design for our T-shirt is being designed in Greece right now as we speak, and like it's solely because we reached a conceptual design that was our actual peak. So it's really cool to be able to flex your brain in multimedia artwork,
Yeah,
and I think that's something that you excel in.
I think all of us like.
I will say also, it's really nice that it has kind of come full circle for us, because with the design being Jet Set Radio inspired, it harkens back to our childhood growing up together, where the first game console we ever had, I think I was 5 years old.
Yeah.
Old OG Xbox, we had Jet Set Radio
Yeah.
Future, but also
Yes,
we
yes,
we had
aesthetic,
like
yeah.
as kids in Mexico, we had also just run around fucking spraying because of the game, and then we took a little bit of a break. You got back into it.
Yeah, I got back into it. And then,
Yeah, but like bikes, skateboards, rollerblades, it's something that like none of us have ever shied away from. Like that's always been in our culture. Like spraying has always been in our culture. Like, and I'm talking about like us as like whatever you
As a unit.
identify as.
Yeah.
I'm saying us as a unit of people that hung out. This is what's been in our zeitgeist. This is what you do.
yeah,
If you want to
Yeah.
get with your homies from point A to point B, the first step is deciding what mode of transportation you're going to have. Yeah. It's like, are we riding our bikes, our skateboards, our rollerblades? Like, what are we doing today to get to what we need to do?
We've come back around to the point where we had fun with that as kids, and now we get to do it as
illegally as adults.
illegally as adults. It was illegal when we did it as kids.
Disclaimer: we do not condone illegal activity.
Where-
Disclaimer, we have not committed crimes within the term limits or whatever the fuck we call it.
Yeah,
What do you
but
call it? The window.
The statute of limitations.
Statute
We have
of
not
limitations.
committed crimes within the statute of limitations of this podcast.
the fact that it has inspired us to do stuff with, music, and then art, design, inspired our
Yeah.
fatherless behavior. Just, spending days running around, skating, biking, listening to crazy ass music. We listened to pirate radio as well for a good period of time. The same way that the fucking GGs did. And now we get to run around and have fun with our art no matter what medium it is.
Yeah.
We also get to broadcast this terrible fatherless behavior just to anybody willing to listen, and that's pirate radio to me. But also, like, the second I get a ham radio, if you think I'm not hijacking frequencies, you're fucking wrong. I will be in your radio if you're within 30 miles of me. I
So
will.
Honestly,
Hijack-
pirate radio is
He's gonna
a
start
pretty
being,
scary endeavor.
No, it is actually scary when you think about what the concept of it is.
The FCC will come for you.
yeah.
Yeah, they go hard. Now they're
I will
very.
not commit a crime punishable by
It's not just it's like a hard felony. It's almost treason.
It's a
For sure.
federal offense.
You will not
Yeah.
commit another crime.
Disclaimer.
Punishable by law. But
I am not committing
we don't
a
condone
crime
crimes.
on
looping
July
back around to this.
3rd.
But see,
of
We went on an
20
adventure recently.
We've been on a journey at some point to try to cement our existence somewhere in the Chicago scene.
We stumbled
decided
upon
that
art.
it wasn't enough to just exist. We wanted to try our best to mark it in stone. On top of being wild boys, we have access to some of the wildest minds in Chicago.
Chicago's fun.
And luckily, we've gotten Sherpas to take us on experiences that are limited to many in the universe and just world in general. And one of the best things I can think of that has ever happened for this band was this excursion. And that wouldn't have been possible without Garden Club. Truly. Truly, it would not be possible.
He was here for the
The-
inception, and he stuck around for what's become.
The
And we
hope
hope
to
to
stick-
stick. Yeah,
the
we hope to
desi-
stick around
the
for it
design
too.
from our banner to the design of our piece out in these streets, it was a really fun point to solidify where we are nowadays, because we had our original bass player Yuli Sherpa us all together with our current bass player Walter to really cement the fact that we're pursuing this 3-piece thing. And that is something that we've never fully acknowledged before. We were always holding kind of reservations to what the sound could hold, tentatively based on what our situation was. But I think that everything that's led up to even this episode now is really an example of how far we can go as a 3-piece, and I really want to respect that. And I think it was awesome that we immortalized that, and we had a guide to ease the transition. So thank you so much.
And make a
Yeah.
piece on the spot too.
Oh yeah, so that piece was pretty much improvised a couple of days beforehand. Much like this piece that you see on our banner, like this was only given a couple of days to work with.
If anyone that wasn't privy to this situation prior to the podcast or day of can find the location and take a picture with it, I will give you 2 free pieces of Garden Club merch whenever they drop.
And
So-
one Foreign Sunsets shirt.
So
That's a promise.
go out, try to find this Foreign Sunsets piece out in nature. You might find it, you might not. But
I've
if
dropped
you do,
I've dropped secret hints every now and then.
if you do, we got you.
I'm so excited just based on what you've done this year alone for Garden Club.
Yeah, I mean,
Hasn't even been a full year.
Like we've already had Garden Club Owlcat Studios collaborations.
yeah, I mean, there's been
Yeah.
it's been 6 months. There's already been the Garden Club Owlcat,
Mhm.
Garden Club Foreign Sunsets, Garden Club background character,
Yep.
Garden Club with Fundamental Kink, and Garden Club with Semicolon Bookstore
Mm-hmm.
for their pop up. And just the thing that I want to do is just keep pushing and keep doing stuff, and hopefully my plan of how I laid out the rest of the year when I started thinking about doing it in January was that I was going to take all this time to just design stuff throughout the year,
Yeah.
and then first collection would be fall winter 2023. So
Oh, yeah.
But-
look out for that. Follow me on Instagram at garden.club.
So what's next for Garden Club?
I think the next part is just putting things out there. I want to be able to make. Originally, the idea was to just make clothes for myself, because I don't want to have to buy someone's clothes, and I like certain aspects of it, but not all of it. I want to be able to wear something that I like 100% because I made it.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to create things that I want to create clothing pieces that make you feel like that. You feel like you like every aspect of it. You like that it's coming from, someone that has a crazy background, someone that finished college but isn't working, and what they studied for, that is from a poor background, is from an immigrant family, but is also trying to not just do this the cheapest way, but also
Yeah.
the most
Efficient.
efficient and
The biggest bang for your buck.
well, not the most efficient, and also the most environmentally responsible way that you can do it.
That's important.
And
That's
so
important.
that's kind of where I'm trying to head, and trying to put out product and get my name out there, so that come fall, I'm not just making these shirts for me and my friends and family.
You're selling them
I'm
online.
gonna be having a following. And
So let's dream big, right? Because we're a band with almost nothing that dreams of grandeur. That is how we ended up developing this podcast. That's how we developed the studio. That's how we've developed everything we've done. Speak it into existence. Manifest that third beer. You know what I mean? Like, what is Garden Club gonna do?
Garden Club right now is me. So what I want to do and what I like plan to do in the future is to grow myself into having a team, into having multiple methods of creating items such as like screen printing and embroidery, but like also do cut and sew pieces where like I don't have to go out and order like 50 to 100 blank Gildan t-shirts. I could just make them.
Yeah.
Which would be dope.
Also, don't
And I could fit them however I want.
don't be like all those local small town designers that just put a fucking rose on the fucking chest and call it that fucking piece. You know who you are.
I just bought one of those
There's
shirts.
hundreds of you.
Catch
You
me at
know
the
who
next
you
show
are.
wearing one though.
If you're an American designer or band with a merch
Give your balls a tug.
If you're an
Make something
artist,
new.
so,
DM
like,
us.
section in your catalog, listen to our District 105 interview.
Where he fucking
feel
shits
bad.
on all of you.
Feel bad. I own a lot of this merch coming out of Vietnam. I buy quite a bit of it, and I have them send over as much of the new stuff as possible. They're making us look bad, guys.
We're making us look bad.
The land of the free is uncomfortable, and I'm not okay with that.
Well, it's also because there's a saturation and a high demand where you have to cut costs and you end up getting low product. That's why in the Vietnamese scene, there's only 5 bands in the last 10 years. They also are one of the highest,
20.
20 bands. They're also one of the highest producers of textiles and cloth,
So
aside
small.
from Taiwan. So
And
they have
Bangladesh.
access to all the good shit.
They're right next to Bangladesh too.
They are right next to Bangladesh.
Those are all the major players right now, and they're still killing it.
And so like they got access to it. Not a lot of people. Like there's no saturation, and so they're able to fucking get that shit.
I
And
don't know. It sounds like
Not
y'all
much
are
overhead.
dogging Vietnam, and I don't think me and Garden Club. are
no,
gonna
no,
say
I'm not
it.
dogging Vietnam.
Really
I'm
kill
saying, I'm
Insult
saying
Vietnam produces
I'm
my
saying they are
shirts.
in a position of power right now,
It's like,
where
how
they
dare you.
have the capability to and accessibility to high quality products. Right now, since there is a saturation, you gotta pay like double, triple for high quality
All right.
products.
It is hard to
Let's
find
wrap it
good
up.
quality merch in the U.S.
What do you
for
guys?
sure.
What do you guys want to wrap up on?
Ooh, what is our closer line?
So, Yuli, we like to
plug
close out the show with some sort of parting words of wisdom. What parting words do you have for us and the audience?
If you take shrooms before you leave the house and think, I could get there before they kick in, that might just be
Fatherless behavior.
Thanks
Thanks
for
so
watching.
much for watching.
God
Like,
damn.
follow, subscribe.
Easier.